From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Monday night, it's a brand new week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine, into our 24th consecutive year and seen exclusively on cleveland.com. 24 years, is that how long Steve-Legerski has been involved with the Piston-Power-Show?
No.
Seems like it, though?
No, it really doesn't. I mean, the Summit Racing Equipment, IX piston-powered Autorama, this will be my 8th show with these guys, because,
wow.
You know, right? So the show started back in 1967, so this is actually the 54th anniversary of the show.
Wow.
Consecutive running of it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad at all. And the good part about when I get to see you, that means the weather is getting better for all of us in Northeast Ohio.
Beautiful outside today and stuff, and, you know, we actually moved in we actually have a plane that came in today, too, a B-25 Mitchell. So we actually got it into the IX Center today because it was so nice.
That's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. But when you think about it, the IX Center used to be a B-29 assembly plant, so no big deal.
The tank, we used to call it the tank plant.
Well, it was the tank plant for the Korean War effort.
All right, let's forget all this frivolous stuff. We got stuff to do here.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
His D-man, Dennis-Manoloff, will be here a little bit later. Steve-Legerski is here, the Piston-Power-Show. And something, you know, you hear about these events and these shows, good for all ages. This is good for all ages.
It is. You know, with the way that we've got it structured as far as the pricing of the show, there's a lot of value to the show for the family. Tickets are $20 at the box office, Les, and if you think about it, kids 12 and under get in for free. So if mom and dad come to the show, buy a full price ticket at $20, and they bring in their 2 kids, their average price per person is $10 to get in the show. There's nothing you can do in Cleveland that I know of for $10 with this amount of entertainment.
Here are the dates we're talking about, starting this Friday, and that's March through Sunday, March 15th. Kids 12 and under get in free. You can go to the website, you see right there. It's all at the IX Center, and that comes up this Friday. You got some, the time on Friday is 3 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Yep.
Saturday is 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yes, sir.
And then it's Sunday, it's 10 in the morning till 6 in the afternoon. So plenty of time. How long does it take? I don't want to say if you're in a hurry or if you're going to do it slow. The average person going through, how long will it take to see what they need to see?
Probably 6-7 hours. I mean, it's a big show. I mean, when you think about it, the show is 1 million square feet, and 1 million square feet doesn't mean that much to anybody.
Until you see it.
Until you really see it. But when you break it down, it's actually 28 football fields of entertainment. That's how big this thing is. 28 football fields full of 1,400 units on the floor. Les, we have 800 cars in competition. I have airplanes. I have tanks. I have the Historical Truck Society there, the Antique Construction Society there. Our motorcycle pavilion has over 100 motorcycles on display there. So, you know, and then even in our concourse area, which is hosted by our friends over at the Northern Ohio Car Club Association, we have 70 cars in the concourse. In the concourse at the IX Center used to be the old cafeteria when it was a tank plant. So you're actually walking into history when you come down and see these cars. It's unbelievable.
All right, so you just said you got the plane that went through. What's the thing that produces the biggest awe factor?
I think some of the show cars that we get from around the country, some of these guys have, you know, $1 million cars that they brought to the IX Center, and they actually compete with the International Show Car Association for the top prize, which is $10,017. Pretty good.
Well, how'd you come up with that figure?
Well, the Detroit show's 10,000, so I wanted it to be a little bit more than them. Yeah, I did, right? and it's like St. Patrick's Day, so we always say, I know it's the Cleveland's pot of gold, but it's really it's a few more bucks than the Detroit show.
The weather should be perfect for you guys.
Yeah.
For the weekend.
Yep, we started. Actually, we moved in a plane today. Moving starts on Wednesday and Thursday, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Not supposed to be any ice storms or snowstorms, so it's going to be cool. So we invite everybody to come to the show. Bring your tennis shoes. It's a lot of walking.
You said 54 years. What has been? Have you had anything that's been there all 54 years?
No. Every year we change it up every year. So the things that we have some of the same feature areas like the model car contest and some of these other things have been there, but none of the same cars or none of the same features have ever been there year after year.
You walk up and down the exhibit area and say, how do we get that in here? Or when did that happen?
There's sometimes I walk around and I go, hey, how did that thing get in here and stuff? Because there's really a lot that goes on at that show, and there's so many pieces, parts to it. But it's such a big show, and, you know, we talked a little bit about that B-25 and, you know, our military equipment. You know, the one thing that we're doing this year, and we do it every year, is we partnered up with the Ohio Veterans Home in Sandusky. I was out there earlier this year, and it's an absolute beautiful facility for our veterans. It's more of a nursing home for them, but I mean, it's like a 5-star restaurant, 5-star hotel, bless. And this year we're working with Finn, Feather, and Fur Outfitters, and they've actually provided us with gift cards, $250 gift cards but we're selling raffle tickets for $10. So for every 80 tickets that we sell, we're going to give away $250 to Finn, Feather, and Fur Outfitters. And then all that money, all the proceeds, we don't take a dime of it, go right back to the Ohio Veterans Home in Sandusky.
You know, you think about it as the years pile up. Not many veterans of World War II still around.
No, a handful of those guys. There's a lot of Korean War guys, and you know, I was out there, and it's so nice to see the guys. And I mean, the care that they get out there is absolutely phenomenal. So we're really going to contribute to that, and hopefully we're going to get into the $20,000, $30,000 range for that to write a check. So
a husband and his wife takes 2 kids to the show.
Yep.
$10 a piece as it works out, as the formula you just showed. Yep. What map do you give them? What do you say? Where do you go for? If you can't do the 6 hours, you can only do 4. What do you cut out?
Well,
not what you cut out, but what do you definitely go see?
I think there's like 3 big areas of interest. I mean, our South Hall is hosted by the Fat Man Invasion, and that's our 2nd year with those guys. So now it's Euros, imports, and lowriders with those guys. So I would say that you want to go see that. You certainly want to hit the main hall. You want to go see our motorcycle pavilion, and then you want to take a stroll down to the down the concourse, down the escalator, and see that down there. So there's really like 4 main areas of the show, but it's all on one contiguous area.
All right, discount tickets, strangely enough, available at Discount Drug Mart.
Yes.
What a coincidence! Coincidence that is.
Summit Racing Equipment in Talmadge, right?
Yeah.
Those tickets are $18. You can get them all the way through the show, and or you can go to piston-power-show.com. Our veterans that we talked about, they get their discount right at the box office, so they can come right there. $15, they can buy up to 6 tickets with a valid ID, and our first responders too, Les, because we like to take care of those guys too.
That's terrific.
Yeah,
that's,
really
you
nice.
know, when you talk about a staple that's been here 54 years, you're doing something right, even because you're changing over, you're doing what you have to do, and it's keeping it interesting.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing that we work on really hard every year is we don't want it to be the same, we don't want it to look the same, we don't want it to have the same features. What we do is we try to change up the cars every year, and even with the theme with our car clubs, I mean, unlike a lot of the Autoramas around the country, we get tremendous participation from our car clubs here. So every year we come up with a new theme. So this year it's March Motor Mania, right? So it can't be March Motor Madness.
No, can't use that name.
No, we get in trouble with the NCAA, and I don't want to do that. But it's like 2 themes. It's March Motor Mania and All Roads Lead to Cleveland. So I'm waiting to see what some of our car clubs have done to compete, because we give away some prize money
All
for
roads
them.
lead to Cleveland. So, but how many different states will be represented over the weekend?
We probably have about 15 states. We probably have 15 guys coming with their ISCA cars, with those show cars that I talked about earlier, from about 15 states. I mean, we got guys coming from Canada. I got 3 guys coming from Texas. I got a guy coming from Florida. So, you know, probably all corners of the United States are coming to be represented.
And you work on this 365 days a year?
Well, 362 days a year, because I'm there for 3 days. So I got to really do it on 3 days, man.
When the show is actually on, you don't do anything.
Oh, no. I'm really busy. I mean, during the show, because we got to keep all that stuff online. I mean, like I said, I've got 700 cars in competition on the main floor. I've got the Hot Rod Asylum with Don Moyer and the Slick Doubles Car Club. They have their own little judging thing that we work on. And they've got some really cool prizes, some really great hot rods this year over there.
For those of you who can't tell, Steve used to be a radio guy.
Loved it, man. I love working in radio, man. It was really, really fun and stuff. I mean, I started, you know, at MMS back in '86, and I probably worked at every radio station in Cleveland. So, but it was really fun. So.
Terrific. Steve, thanks so much for letting us be part of it.
Great to be here.
All right, hang on one second. Dennis-Manoloff will be here. Did you know the Ohio Lottery has paid over $1 billion in winnings over the last 6 months? People are winning every day, and they're winning in record numbers. Winning is happening all around the state of Ohio. Play an Ohio Lottery game and play it today. Thanks to Steve-Legerski and the Piston Power Show this weekend, starting Friday going through Sunday. Dennis-Manoloff joins us in a moment. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine, with new content posted each and every day. We have a whole bunch of responses to our question of the day, which we'll get to a little bit later. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
The heart-pounding, fast-breaking action of college basketball is back when the 2020 Mid-American Conference Basketball Tournament returns to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse March 11th through the 14th. Presented by Visit Myrtle Beach. Pulses will rise and hearts will race as the men and women of the MAC put it all on the line. Tickets for the MAC tournament are on sale now online at rocketmortgagefieldhouse.com and at all Northern Ohio discount drug marts. MAC Tournament Basketball. Be there.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
This portion of More Sports and Les Levine brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. Birthdays for today, the 9th of March. Archie Vaughn, Jim Landis, former Boston White Sox, Bert Campaneris, Barb Dwyer, 1947, Benito Santiago, and Aaron Boone. I believe he's the manager of the New York Yankees right now.
Yes, he is.
The D-man, Dennis-Manoloff, is with us. You got moved aside for Steve-Legerski and the Piston-Power-Show.
I will always do that for Steve. What a great guy. Class act.
Terrific. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. If you'd like to get in, you can do that. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. All right, let's get right into it. Just a few minutes before the show started, I don't know if it's breaking news because I don't think it surprises anybody, but Jason Lloyd of The Athletic has come up with the fact that Francisco-Lindor and the Indians have suspended contract talks to focus on the upcoming season. Did they say they don't want to talk about it at all this year? Or what are they saying?
Yeah, in Jason Lloyd's story today was that Lindor said, he doesn't want to. They've tabled it. You know that there's not going to be any discussions, presumably, as they focus on this season. They had said earlier this spring that they weren't going to let this drag into the season. Right. Well, I guess today is the day where Lindor declared.
Well, you mean drag into the season, meaning
anymore.
In other words, a final decision wasn't going to be made this early, but the final discussion.
Right. The expectation is now that there won't be any further discussions about a contract extension.
Right.
Lindor clearly doesn't want to be asked about it every other day, and I don't blame him. But to your point, your original point, Les, it shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone that the Indians were not able to come to terms on a long-term extension with Frankie Lindor. In fact, not only do I say that, I'm telling you that Frankie Lindor has priced himself out of this market by virtue of being a superstar. He's not going to re-sign here. Nothing in the Dolan ownership DNA has given you any indication whatsoever that they would pony up at least the $300 to $350, maybe more $1 million it's required to sign Frankie Lindor.
Okay, so most people's the first reaction would be, well, the Dolans are cheap and they're not going to spend the money and all that other stuff. The reality is, how many teams would do that?
Well, that's exactly right, Les. I'm glad you mentioned that. There is a finite number of teams that let's say you're trying to trade with them. A, have the prospects, and B, have the money.
And the need.
And the need. But, you figure you find a way to fit Frankie Lindor in if need be. But even if you were to take away a trade scenario, if it was just a free agent scenario, there's only a certain number of teams that Frankie Lindor is going to be able to sign with as a free agent. But the key is all it takes is one. You don't need the entire league. You just need one. Look at Manny Machado and the Padres. People didn't necessarily think the Padres were going to pony up $300 million, but they did.
What good did it do them?
Well, it hadn't done much so far. But the point being is that a team can come out of left field, as it were, or shortstop, to sign somebody that you don't necessarily expect. But what I'm saying is there's nothing in the Dolan family track record that suggests that they would ever come close to meeting market value for Frankie Lindor. Therefore, you shouldn't be surprised about today's developments, today's quotes from Frankie, and also the reality that he's not going to be here long term.
Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, Bryce Harper left the Washington Nationals last year. Goes within the division to the Phillies.
Yep.
They don't make the playoffs.
And the Nationals win the
And the Nationals
World
win the whole
Series
thing. I mean,
after
that's
winning
the
93
argument.
games in the wild card.
I mean, that's the argument. I'm not trying to stick up for the Dolans, but you can make a good argument that those big contracts don't necessarily guarantee you playoffs, let alone World Series.
That's right, and we're not sitting here saying, neither one of us is saying that the Indians are better off eventually without Lindor. Of course not. You'd love to have Frankie Lindor for his entire career. The Boston Red Sox would have loved to have had Mookie Betts for his entire career.
And
well,
when
guess
Boston
what?
can't do it, who can do it?
They offloaded him to the Dodgers. So it's not just the Indians that can't afford or don't afford these guys. I shouldn't say can't because we know all owners are billionaires. But to your point about if and when, or I say when, Lindor leaves, do the Indians automatically sink? Well, it depends on what their roster looks like. Because as you mentioned, Harper was a huge piece of the Nationals, but guess what? They had a pretty good roster to absorb his loss.
Correct.
And here's the riddle about Major League Baseball. There's actually two parts to it. Number one, once you get into the playoffs, it's not nearly as punitive to get to the World Series as it is in the NHL and NBA, for example. You don't have 3 straight best-of-7s to get to a best-of-7.
Right.
Number two...
And in football, you have a couple of buys. The top 2 teams have the buys.
Right. But in baseball, I usually compare it to NHL, NBA. In baseball, you can win a division, win a best-of-3, best-of-5, best-of-7, and get to the World Series. In NHL, NBA, you have to win 3 straight best-of-7s just to get to your championship round. But the other part of it that's really important is in baseball, you can have several stars, and it's not going to guarantee you a World Series title because of the way the game is played. Look at the lineup, okay? When you have a lineup 1 through 9, and let's say you have a Mike Trout, and he manages to get into the playoffs the one time he did against the Royals.
And they didn't win a game.
3 games. He batted, 11 times or something like that? Why? You can't run Mike Trout up to the plate every single time in a playoff game.
You got to wait till his turn comes.
Unlike in the NBA, if you have a star, you can get that star the ball every single time if you so desire. So in baseball, you have to have more than just 1 or 2 stars in order to win.
And one of them better be a pitcher.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Let's go to Bill, who's in North Olmsted. Bill, good evening.
Hey, guys. Dennis, that's a very good dialogue you just had there. I want to take it a little bit further, comparing baseball to the other sports. I think a true fan, a true baseball fan, can enjoy the regular season, enjoy the balmy evenings in the summertime, going down the ballpark, not paying an arm and a leg for a ticket. Whereas the other sports, everything seems to revolve around the playoffs. Now, I enjoyed last season immensely with the Indians, and I felt bad they didn't get the playoffs, but it didn't detract from my enjoyment from baseball. Whereas I think if in basketball, football, etc., you don't make the playoffs, you feel like you're deprived a little bit. So
and you have 162 nights or days to create all kinds of good vibes and see great plays and see great games that really don't kill you as far as contending for the playoffs when it's all said and done.
Well, there's a lot to be said about that. Actually, I just called here. I think this is at least the 20th year I'm going to give you a spring training report, Les. I just got back from my 38th spring training, and I'm missing one of my buddies who passed on and wasn't able to go out, obviously, with me this year. But spring training is the best. Do you guys go much at all? Or
I haven't gone in a while.
No, I have not gone, period.
I haven't gone since, I think the last year I did was the last year of
Florida.
Winter Haven.
Same here.
Yeah, was that 2007, I think?
Whatever,
like
yeah.
Yeah. But some highs and lows, and I've never been influenced by statistics at spring training. But,
Okay, you got to hurry, Bill. Go ahead.
well, I think Bowers is playing like he knows he's going to be sent down. Disappointed in what I see in Chang. Was watching Reyes and Bradley in the batting cages especially, and they both seem to be really working on hitting the ball to the opposite field. So I got to give them both high marks for sticking with the team. Well, obviously Reyes would, but I think he's going to have a good season. Carrasco, I'm kind of concerned. I see him as maybe a 5-inning pitcher, 6 at most. I think you better have a well-rested bullpen when he starts a game. I just don't see him, trudging past 5-6 innings.
Well,
But,
and Eddie Clevenger back really quick.
Well,
Thanks, Bill.
fourth year in a row, I've watched Clevenger. He's always the first one out, always working hard, working up the sweat, even when he isn't playing as he isn't now. But a very impressive guy.
All right, Bill, thanks for your report. We appreciate it as always.
Thanks, Bill.
Talk to you soon.
And Bill is extremely knowledgeable.
Absolutely. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. We had a question of the week, a question of the day today on Facebook. Do you consider the Indians contenders for the AL Central? Let's take a look at what people had to say. Gregory Sopko, as the team stands today with the injuries, no, they are not. Chris Ard, every year the Indians are a contender. Can't say that about the Browns or Cavs. Excuse me, without LeBron. I know the Indians fans are starved for a championship, but I'll take consistent contender over the alternative any day. Danny Harrison says the Indians have been passed over by teams that spent more money to get better and deeper. Injuries and a lack of commitment to winning by the owners will have this team looking up to the rest of the division. Aaron Wood, yes, the Indians have good pitching, and if everybody stays healthy and wins consistently, I think we'll be in the postseason. Lawrence Butler, they can contend. Minnesota appears to be better, and the White Sox are much improved. If Sox young pitchers deliver, they could top the Central. John Ludwig, unfortunately, no better than third in the Central this year. Sox and Twins have loaded up. Indians with a no-hit outfield and injured pitchers will probably start slow. That isn't unusual under Francona. Joe English says the Indians are the best team in the Central. I think the Minnesota Twins fall back to earth, and Chicago could be tough. Should get a lot of power and most enviable pitching depth in the MLB. Finally, Robert Miller says, not optimistically, the window has been closing.
I think it's going to be a 3-team race, and I can't wait. I think I've been saying the White Sox are going to come for several years. I think they are going to finally make that leap because they've augmented their young talent with some veterans, and also the young talent has had another year to mature. But I prefer the White Sox lineup and the Twins lineup to the Indians lineup, 1 through 9. But I much prefer the Indians pitching to the White Sox pitching or the Twins pitching. Therefore, I think it's going to be a nice 3-team battle.
It'll be fun. Northeast Factory Direct, they now have been in business over 20 years. Alex started it all in his garage with one piece of furniture. He found out if you keep your expenses low, you can pass the savings on to the customer. And now they've got a best price guarantee. And that means if you buy something there and within 1 year you find a lower price, Alex will give you that 1-year best price guarantee and pay you right back for the difference. I've been saying the Northeast prices can't be beat. Now it's guaranteed. 4 locations if you include the website, East, West, and South, as well as northeastfactorydirect.com. Dennis-Manoloff and I come back. We'll reevaluate the Olivier-Vernon trade that brought him to the Browns last year. More Sports and Les-levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Celebrate Naturestone's 30-year anniversary with a free Naturestone floor. During 2020, we will be giving away 30 free floors to 30 very lucky customers to say thank you for making Naturestone the best concrete flooring solution for garages, basements, and more. Call or visit naturestone.com today to register to win, and we'll send you a copy of our new buyer's guide absolutely free. There's no purchase necessary. Winners will be chosen monthly. With over 30 million square feet installed for more than 60,000 customers, it's easy to see why I always say, it's not just a floor. Wow, it's Naturestone.
Got your Ohio Lottery pick 3, I see.
Yup. Those glasses are hip.
Hip? Most people think I'm a square. But what's wrong with that? A box bet can increase your chances of winning. And what is a box? A square. There are so many ways to play. There's coming out the wazoo. Oh, shucks. Look at me yammering on. Put a lid in it, Picky Ricky. Play the Ohio Lottery Pick 3 today.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
The girls' state semis and championships are at St. John Arena. Go to Ticketmaster.com, type in OHSAA in the search artists, venues, and events, and you will be able to find tickets for all the OHSAA championships. That's Ticketmaster.com, type in OHSAA in the search artists, venues, and events, and you'll see all the championship ticket information.
Time for a How Come Quickie. How come if a farmer wants to break up with his tractor, he should write a John Deere letter?
I don't know, Les, but I just got looking at the Twitter feed during the break, and the Franmil Reyes, number 5 on the spring.
But he lost so much weight.
Yeah, the slimmed down version of the Franimal. But listen, you see him taking a swing, he's still the Franimal. He's still a monster. He's not some
He's not hitting high flies
little beanpole.
He's not hitting high fly balls that just clear the fence.
And I want to take issue with one of the Facebookers about will the Indians be a contender in the sense of the no-hit outfield. Number one, manning one of the posts, at least in a platoon, maybe full-time, is Jordan Luplow. At the minimum, Luplow kills left-handers.
Right.
He's one of the best hitters against lefties in the entire league.
Can't hit righties.
Number 2, well, even if he can't, you got half that equation solved, or a third of it, because you see a third of lefties. I don't know what they'll do from the left side, or if Luplow will get his shot, but at the very least, he hits lefties. Center field, Mercado, assuming he survives the risk here. This guy, to me, has a very high ceiling. I'm not predicting stardom, but I think he could be a very good player for the Indians in center field. And in right field, if you believe these guys, Franmil Reyes is going to be out there. You calling him no-hit, 40-plus bombs?
No.
I mean, so it's not a complete, it's not even close to complete. It's a pretty decent outfield if you have, let's say against a left-handed pitcher. You have Luplow in left, Mercado in center, and Franmil in right. And even if you don't have Franmil, let's say you have Domingo Santana out there. That's not bad against left-handed pitching for sure.
Yeah,
now, against righties, okay, a little bit of a question.
Yes. Santana is maybe one of the worst defensive players in the league.
That's why they're dying for Franmil to be out there. Not that Franmil's a Gold Glover.
Right.
But they prefer to have Reyes out there.
No, what they want with Reyes is make the regular average play. They're not looking for spectacular plays. They're looking for fly balls coming to right field. You know that it's caught.
But I think if Reyes plays the outfield, you automatically have power in the outfield.
Correct.
It's not like you have 3 spots that can't do anything.
Right. All right, let's turn our attention to football, and we'll turn our attention a little bit to we'll start with Baker Mayfield. Jeff Darlington, these guys at ESPN, it's like low-hanging fruit. It's let's pick on Cleveland. We know it'll
get... there's a slow news day, tee up Baker.
There you go. So he says about Baker, last year when it came to expectations, they had risen so high in Baker that it was going to be hard for him or anybody else to live up to them, quite frankly, to a degree that they created themselves. But also, that was probably unfair. I mean, he needed some time to develop. I think that Kevin-Stefanski, coming off the Mike Zimmer way, I just think that it'll be better for Baker and a more stable situation. I think everybody could agree with that.
I mean, I like Jeff Darlington, but this is another one where the sun is hot and water's wet. I mean, we know that. Okay, and again, not knocking Mr. Darlington, he's a great guy, great reporter, but come on. I mean, that's common sense.
How about Jeff Saturday? Great offensive lineman for mostly Indianapolis. I think a lot of the pressure was put on Mayfield, and to a large extent, quarterbacks get way too much credit when they win, way too much credit when they lose. I think a lot that went to Baker Mayfield, but ultimately the team was not in a position to win as people had expectations placed on them. So hopefully it'll give him some humble pie a little bit. Same thing,
Again,
nothing new.
Agreed. I will say this, though. Baker Mayfield was more accurate last season than he was this past. I mean, in 18 than he was in 19. There's no doubt about that. He made better throws. Now, you can point to all sorts of reasons why, but I'm going to step back and say there was something off about Baker Mayfield that you can't just tie to the coaching, which was bad, the line which sprung leaks, receivers running wrong routes.
Thinking it would be too easy.
He just didn't look right, okay? And he didn't make the plays. He didn't have the magic that he had in 18. So we will see if Stefanski and the new crew can get him right. But
do you think that's what Van Pelt meant when he talked about footwork? Because
sure
he didn't seem to have any problem with the arm strength or ability to throw the ball.
No, I don't think that's an issue. And by the way, another thing, Mayfield was banged up. Okay, he was, but most quarterbacks are.
Sure.
And he never used it as an excuse. Credit to Baker Mayfield. He never whined about any of his injuries that he may or may not have had. It looked like he was playing with a banged up hand for at least a few games. So I give him credit there. He's tough, but something was missing with either his throwing mechanics or that hard to encompass X factor, the magic, the ability to put a ball in a postage stamp. He just didn't do it last year.
Yeah, but you also have to blame some of the wide receiving core because they weren't on the same page at all.
I mean, you had all sorts of craziness going on. I mean, who knows? Can you imagine, Les, if we were able to have, if we had now we could sit and listen to all of the meetings of Freddie Kitchen, everything that went on with Freddie Kitchens while he was in Berea. I mean, our eyes would probably be just bugging out of our heads because
our heads would explode.
I can't even imagine what chaos was in Berea for that year.
All right, of course, Odell Beckham came over. Part of the trade also was Olivier-Vernon. So let's take a look at what he did in the regular season last year. Olivier-Vernon 2019 with 26 tackles, a career low, 4 tackles for a loss, 3.5 sacks, a career low, 1 fumble forced. He's set to make $15.5 million for 2020. None of it is guaranteed. So what does that tell you?
That tells me he's probably on his way out.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see it with Vernon. I think he was a very big disappointment this year, and of course you could probably say he was injured too. They all can. But this is just not the kind of production you signed up for when you made that deal.
Let's talk about the offensive line. Kevin-Zeitler in the 2019 season, 15 games, 991 official offensive snaps, 2 penalties, 3 sacks allowed, and 16 quarterback pressures. And the right guards, combination of Eric-Kush and Wyatt-Teller, 16 starts between the two of them. Offensive snaps, 436 and 557. 4 penalties by Kush, 2 by Teller. Sacks allowed, 2 and 1. And quarterback pressures, total of 35 as compared to Kevin-Zeitler, who had 16.
Great job by Brian and the research staff on that one. I mean, in retrospect, you don't like the trade. It can be saved, though, and I don't think it's going to be saved. If it is, it's not going to be saved by Vernon. It's going to be saved by Beckham.
Exactly.
Beckham has to play at an all-world level in order to save this trade.
There you go. Mike Masetta will join us from Nature's Stone a little bit later. You can explore your interests and find a program that puts you on a path to a bright future at Tri-C. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu to find out more information. We'll come back in a moment. We'll find out what Mike's thinking. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
If a piston makes it go, it's in this show. March Motor Mania takes over the 2020 Summit Racing Equipment IX piston-powered Autorama. March 13th, 14th, and 15th at the IX Center. Show cars, antique trucks, construction equipment, hot rods in the asylum, motorcycles, military vehicles, and themed car clubs. New for 2020, the Throwdown Monster Trucks and the return of Fat Man's Invasion. With Euros, imports, sport compacts, and lowriders. Kids 12 and under are free. piston-power-show.com for details. Discount tickets on sale at Discount Drug Mart locations and Summit Racing Equipment in Talmadge.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery, Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
This date in sports history, D-Man, March 9th, 1986. Cleveland State is picked late on Selection Sunday. Finds out they're going to play Indiana at Syracuse in one of the great upsets in NCAA history at the time. The Vikings beat Bob Knight's team 83-79 behind 29 points by Clinton Ramsey.
Don't be humble. What were you doing that day?
I was watching the game. Oh, yeah, I was broadcasting.
You were calling it.
It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Pretty cool. Mike Masetta is with us, I believe, from Nature's Zone. Wow, it's Mike Masetta.
So, Mike.
Hey, hi guys. How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing well. D-Man is with us. All right, lots of stuff to get to and not that much time to get to it. So we're going to just turn it over to you. What if you, rather than me have to figure out what you're thinking, why don't you tell me what you're thinking?
What am I thinking? I'm thinking that we're 1 week closer to Indians baseball starting. I think it's March 23rd.
26th.
Right around there. 26th. So they've got about. Yeah, so they've got about 3 weeks left of spring training. I guess we got some good news today about Clevenger's knee, so hopefully he'll return a little sooner rather than later. And I know Lindor suspended his talks today for an extension. That was to be expected. I don't think they were going to get anything done right now, anyways. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm glad that they put that on aside so that he could focus on the baseball season and let's get going. Indians baseball, baby.
D-Man checking his email during the break, and you got some news about MLB and what their plans are?
Yeah, Joel Sherman, the very highly regarded baseball writer. MLB is proposing that the media restriction to locker rooms, clubhouses is temporary regarding the coronavirus. Will return to normal policy once medical personnel give the okay.
Okay, there's another suggestion. Tell me what that is about playing outside the area.
Yeah, it was that MLB is even considering playing games outside of teams' metropolitan areas if the state health departments feel necessary.
So do you envision maybe the Indians opening the season at Akron?
I mean, I don't even want to take my mind there, Les.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is a very serious situation. I'm not taking it lightly at all. I just can't even imagine worst-case scenarios because, okay, you restrict the clubhouse access. Let's say you were to play games without fans, and how long is that going to go?
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, Mike, we were talking earlier. Franmil Reyes hits another homer. He's got 5 on the spring. The Indians used to have a player, Walter Bond, who's when the Indians trained in Tucson, they found out he had one problem. He could only hit balls into the palm trees. When he brought him north and there was no palm trees, the guy couldn't hit out of a paper bag.
Well,
So Franmil is doing it pretty well right now.
I was going to say, there's very few players from the Indians that I don't recall, and Walter Bond happens to be one of them.
Well,
don't know the name, and that's probably why.
Yeah.
But,
he along with Rudy the Red Hot Rapper Regalado made the all spring training teams.
Well, I don't think Franmil is a Walter Bond. He did hit 30-some home runs last year, so he does have it in him. He's a young guy. He got himself into real good shape this year and has done everything that the Indians have asked of him. So the ball does carry in Arizona. There's no question about it. Typically, when they come back to Cleveland, they start off slow. That just happens to be the way things go with baseball. The weather's not usually where it needs to be, and then come June, you start to see them pick up with the bats a little bit. But you can make that case across the board throughout all the professional teams.
I see no reason why they can't just plant some palm trees in there, in Cleveland.
Put a few behind the fence. Let everybody see them. It's a mental thing, and maybe he'll start putting them out, early.
All right, really quick. We don't usually talk Cavaliers because there's nothing to talk about. You got to like what they're doing under Bickerstaff, right?
I do. In the beginning of the year, I thought that they were kind of an exciting team to watch. They played hard. They were in every game. They had a decent record. And then they hit this lull, and, whatever the case may be, the issues with Beilein and so forth. But since Bickerstaff has taken over, you're seeing this team progress. The interesting thing is they're doing it very undermanned. They're only playing with 7-8 guys a game. I mean, this is pretty crazy. And they're going up against quality opponents, and they're in every game, and they're actually winning some games. So this is an interesting time for them.
All right, you filled your allotted time here. Now I need you to make a programming decision. We have to let the D-man go because he's going over to WTAM to do the night show there. Should I pretend that we had a fight and I threw him off the stage, or do you think I just say we're excusing him so he can go do his other real job?
In today's day and age, people will respond to the fight, Les. I'm going with the fight and throw him out.
All right,
that'll get the people listening.
All right, then you get out of here, and I got to throw him out too, and it'll be a doubleheader. Mike, thanks for joining us as always. We'll talk to you soon. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
Mike.
Hey, wow, it's Nature Stone, and I would never throw you out, D-man. I love you, man.
All right, thanks.
All right,
thanks so much, Mike. Mike Macetta from Nature Stone.
I would quit if Les ever tossed me off the set.
Well, I'm going to toss you out in a minute. By the way, you're on from Win to Win tonight.
Yeah, it's the Spring Training Weekly show. I'm subbing for Nick Camino. It's live from 8 to 9, WTA. Well, it's not just TM 1100. It's Indians Radio Network.
Right.
So
you're
it's a
all
pretty
over the place.
significant
All
show.
right, I'll let you go in a minute. Got to talk about Sokolowski's University Inn. I've been talking about them every day for about 26 years. Sokolowski's University Inn, there is nothing better than that. For lunch, 5 minutes out of downtown, plenty of free parking, and it's open 11 to 3 Monday through Friday, Friday and Saturday nights for dinner starting at 4. The winner of the James Beard Foundation Award, only 5 in the country get that every year, and they won it about 3-4 years ago. Congratulations, well deserved to the Sokolowski family. We'll come back in a minute. D-Man, we'll see you next week. I forget when, probably Wednesday, right? Next week?
Something. Wednesday.
All right, we'll check that out. Northeast Factory Direct, we've been talking about them for a while. People still ask me, they know that you can save money, but is the stuff cheap? No way. It's high-quality name-brand furniture like Flex Steel, England, Klausner, and much more. Alex, the owner, has 2 really nice lines in addition of custom furniture, great style selection, and many fabric options, and you can get quicker than you can get them from the expensive stores. They also have Amish furniture made right here in Ohio. You don't get higher quality than that. 4 locations, including the website East, West, and South, and NortheastFactoryDirect.com. We'll come back in a moment. We'll take your phone calls. D-Man's gone. Steve-Legerski's gone. Was it something I said? I don't think so. Have a great show. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature Stone and never replace your basement flooring again. Your concrete is uneven, damp, and not healthy. Carpet and tile don't last, breed mold and mildew, and give worthless warranties. Nature Stone permanently corrects uneven concrete and is not affected by dampness or moisture. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of March. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Heart-pounding, fast-breaking action of college basketball is back when the 2020 Mid-American Conference Basketball Tournament returns to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse March 11th through the 14th. Presented by Visit Myrtle Beach. Pulses will rise and hearts will race as the men and women of the MAC put it all on the line. Tickets for the MAC tournament are on sale now online at rocketmortgagefieldhouse.com and at all Northern Ohio discount drug marts. MAC Tournament Basketball. Be there.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Let's take a look at this date in Les-Levine history, 1987, same as earlier when we had the Cleveland State Vikings beating Indiana. On this date here, Les, the voice of the CSU Vikings of the time, thinks about how much to pack for his trip to Syracuse. He decides on one day for his suitcase because he knows they can't beat Indiana. Turns out he needed 4 days' worth as they not only beat the Hoosiers, but they went on to beat St. Joseph's. Went on to a thriller at the Meadowlands and lost a close one at the buzzer against David Robinson and the Navy. 216-575-0403. Lines are wide open if you'd like to get in. The D-Man had to leave to get to his WTAM duties. And our thanks to Steve-Legerski of the Piston-Power-Show for joining us earlier today. Tomorrow night, Andy Baskin will join us, and then Wednesday it'll be Bud Shaw. Thursday we're going to actually broadcast from the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. The Mid-American Conference tournament is going on there. Well, let's take a look at the Cavaliers now. Coaching comparison, 10 games for JB-Bickerstaff. He's got a 5-5 record. And John-Beilein, of course, is 14-40. Points per game, right now they're scoring 111. They're actually 5 points more per game. Points allowed, they're about the same. Field goal percentage, 48% under Bickerstaff, 45.4 under Beilein, and assists per game, 4 more by the current team right now coached by Bickerstaff. How about Colin Sexton, what he's done under both coaches? One of the reasons Beilein was hired is that he was very good with young players as opposed to Bickerstaff, who has more NBA experience. And under Beilein, Sexton was averaging 32 minutes per game. Now he's averaging 47 under Bickerstaff, 19.8 points a game under Beilein, 25.4 under Bickerstaff. What does that tell you? Field goals, 46% versus 50.8%. Three-pointers, 36.5 versus 43.1. And assists per game, almost 1.5 assists more per game now under Bickerstaff. And the interesting thing is, you figure the way the schedule is for the NBA that right now a young guy like Sexton would be tired, but it looks like he's gained a second wind here. I'm not sure if 10 games versus 54 is the right sample size, but obviously the last 10 games he's played very, very well. Although I don't know how the schedule matches up also. BP from Pepper Pike, normally a caller. He says he's had trouble getting calls into us, so we'll go to the voicemail of Truth and Reason for BP.
Hello, Les. It's BP and Pepper Pike. I have not been able to call into your show lately. Been tied up with a lot of high school basketball, but I have a thought on Joe Schobert. I really believe the Browns should look to re-sign Joe. I mean, the Browns are always in flux with new coaches, new general managers, new players, new regimes. If you look back, Joe Schobert signed a 4-year, 4th-round draft pick contract. Basically, he was making like $750,000 a year. That's nothing. Basically, the Browns had his services for almost free for the last 4 years. The Browns need to do the right thing and re-sign Joe Schobert. Even if they have to overpay a little bit, this guy is a player. He doesn't miss many games. He gets interceptions, and he's similar to a Cleveland favorite, Clay Matthews. I think everybody would like a Clay Matthews-type player in this new era. So the Browns need to really think about re-signing Joe Schobert. I need to see some serious improvement here. The Browns cannot go 6-10 again. Take care. Have a good day.
Okay, BP, thank you very much. That's a good comparison. Although Matthews did it over a 17-year period, I don't know that you're going to get 17 years out of Joe Schobert or anybody else these days. But he's a guy that I think he's also an analytics dream. I think he touches all, or he checks all the boxes. I hate that term, but he checks all the boxes for an analytics guy. And he's not a superstar, but he gets things done and fits in the right system. So I'd like to see him come back also, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Going back to Bickerstaff, do you think he's the coaching answer? Do you think they may as well just extend him now? Obviously, they have reasons to wait and see, but certainly the first votes are in, and at 5-5, and a team that has come from behind in several of these games. They had a huge lead early last night. Once they lost the lead, I didn't think they were going to be able to come back. And then you realize that San Antonio isn't San Antonio anymore, although they still have some quality players. But pretty interesting. It's also interesting that some of the regular season games getting more interesting. They're making a big deal about trying to improve the regular season for the NBA. And you had a game between the Lakers and the Clippers yesterday, and of course LeBron James almost had a triple-double. I'm just wondering, maybe somebody can answer this question for me. You know, if you have a game in the NBA, if the teams are even, you give the odds as far as Las Vegas is concerned. And by the way, we may as well start talking like that because very soon there's going to be sports gambling in Ohio, I predict. And of course, as you know, you can go to Presque Isle in Pennsylvania and do it there. But when you think about it, normally if it's an even game, you give 3 or 3.5 points to the home team. Well, what do they do when the Lakers are playing the Clippers? Other than the color scheme that they change, if the Lakers would be a 3-point favorite when they're the home team, would they be an even, not an even favorite, but would the game be even if they played as a home game for the Clippers? I don't know that answer. My guess is the home team is the home team because the season ticket holders are buying it for that particular team, which probably is what gives you the home court advantage, and the price range swing from 3 to 3.5 or so. As you know, you can call us and leave a message on our voicemail of Truth and Reason, as BP from Pepper Pike did. Call us anytime at 216-200-6650. Leave a message and we'll use the best messages on a future show. We'll come back in a moment. We'll check out How Come Quickies and more. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature's Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Your concrete is cracked, uneven, and not safe. Paints and poly coatings don't last, are slippery, and give worthless warranties. Nature's Stone permanently corrects cracked, uneven concrete, eliminates slipping hazards, and is easy to clean. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of March. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
If a piston makes it go, it's in this show. March Motor Mania takes over the 2020 Summit Racing Equipment IX Piston-Powered Autorama. March 13th, 14th, and 15th at the IX Center. Show cars, antique trucks, construction equipment, hot rods in the asylum, motorcycles, military vehicles, and themed car clubs. New for 2020, the Throwdown Monster Trucks and the return of Fat Man's Invasion. With Euros, imports, sport compacts, and lowriders. Kids 12 and under are free. piston-power-show.com for details. Discount tickets on sale at Discount Drug Mart locations and Summit Racing Equipment in Talmadge.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. The girls' state semis and championships are at St. John Arena. Go to Ticketmaster.com, type in OHSAA in the search Artists, Venues, and Events, and you will be able to find tickets for all the OHSAA championships. That's Ticketmaster.com, type in OHSAA in the search Artists, Venues, and Events, and you'll see all the championship ticket information.
Andy Baskin will join us tomorrow with 92.3 The Fan, the Baskin and Phelps Show from 10 until 2. On Wednesday, Bud Shaw will be here. And Thursday, we're actually going to be at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse and broadcast our show from there. I wish this was on a night that Bud Shaw would be here. Hey, Brian, I need permission. I'm going to do these tonight and save them for Bud Shaw because this is one heck of a batch. Is that okay with you? Okay. So you'll have to listen. If you're watching now, you'll have to watch on Wednesday also if you want to get a second airing of these. This is not a quickie. It's from Tom Randazzo. He says, hi, Les and D-Man. Hopefully the Browns aren't wasting their time pursuing Trent Williams. If reports are accurate, he's looking around for around $20 million a year. No thanks, not at 32 years old. It's senseless to part with the draft picks plus that salary. Stay at 10 and move up a spot or two. And if you feel the tackle you want won't be there at pick number 10. Alex from the control room, who you would think has more things to do than come up with how come quickies. Les, how come there's cheese on a cheeseburger but there isn't ham on a hamburger? Not bad, Alex. Not bad. From Stu. How come we're happy not to have the first draft pick? Only the Browns could turn a burro into a donkey. I'm not going to read the last part. You'll understand, right, Stu? But it was good. It was good. What else do we have? This from Big Ed. Big Ed says, how come my wife got irritated with me when she asked where I was between 5 and 6? And I answered kindergarten. And again, you're towing the line on this. I can't use your second one. You know I can't. This is from Mitch in Kent. Hey, Les. Hey, Bud. Well, Bud will be here Wednesday. How come if it's the Psychics Network, why do they have to keep giving you the phone number? How come when the truck carrying Vicks Vapo Rub overturned on the highway, there was no congestion? I'm looking over at Bud to give it a grade. And whoever took my antidepressants, well, I hope you're happy. Pretty good, Mitch. Pretty good. Toledo Mike, how come people say nothing is impossible? I've been doing it for years. Bob from Akron, how come old pictures always make me look younger? That's pretty good. We've never had that one before. Mr. Gullible, how come if eyelashes are supposed to keep things out of my eyes, I keep getting an eyelash in my eye? How come my homework assignment failed when my teacher told me to bring something difficult to write on and I brought sand? That is difficult to write on. Not bad. We'll see if Bud agrees with me on Wednesday. All right, that'll do it for us. Thanks to Steve-Legerski from Piston-Power-Show, to D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff. You can hear him on 1100 tonight. And what else? That's about it. Tomorrow night, Andy Baskin from 92.3 The Fan. We'll see you then. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.